Hey X-Ram, welcome to the stream, bro. Welcome back, guys, to another live stream. My name's Mike, aka Decimal Punked, and we are back in the Unreal Engine 5.5.4. This is my university project. It's a solo game, single player. I'm the only developer for it. Set in space, robots are involved, and you have to find creatures and rescue them, basically. Today's stream, if I just bring up the stream title, we're going to be doing a tiny bit of work to the looting UI. There is a bug fix. I had my boys test this earlier, and I noticed that the looting stopped working at one point. So they were going around looting, and then for some reason they weren't able to loot anymore. So I need to simulate and watch the logic to see what's going on. I'm assuming it might be something to do with the boolean that handles whether the player's looting or not. So we will have a look at that, and then if there's time, I want to add the creature behaviour tree to the other creatures that we have in the game. So the first thing I'm going to do is just turn the volume down a tad. And we're just going to look at the current, so at the moment you can see we've got this radial kind of loot feedback there. Okay. So what I've done is I've just been in Photoshop for the last 45 minutes. Playing around and just creating something that looks a little bit better than what it currently does. So, hey, we've got Gelatino. So we're going to swap out the images, and then I wanted to have a percentage showing up there. So when you loot, there's a number there instead of it just being an increasing circle. I think it'd be nice to see the percentage. Just a little bit of feedback for the player. What one did we get? Oh, we got Octonymph and Gelatino. Okay, so what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to go into our UI. Looting widget, and you can see here we've got the looting bar. Now yeah, we've got the scale, so the size, the actual size of it is a little bit yeah, so that's 250 by 250. However, we've kind of scaled it down. So, oh, this is going to be interesting. Okay, let's swap out the images. So, the background, how large is that? 200 by 200, and that is 250 by 250, and my frame, yeah, so it all needs to be 200 by 200. So I'm going to drop this in there. That's going to upgrade the background. Why has that got a very big white border? That's meant to be a circle. It is a circle. Why does the thumbnail have a white border? That's a little bit worrying. That is a tiny bit worrying. Okay, right, and then we're going to put in the frame. Okay. I really don't know why they've got that border. Right, so what we're going to do, guys, is where we've got the looting bar is center screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the frame under there. That's gone up the top, so it needs to be 100, 100, and it also needs to be anchored center screen. So anchor it 100, 100, reset, reset, alignment 0.5, 0.5, and that needs to go beneath there. So there we go. So now we've actually got a fairly decent frame. It's not amazing, but it's better than what it was. Okay, so if I now just show you that. So it's likely to change, like the colours and things. I just wanted to get something that looked a little bit nicer. Because I want that looting to kind of, it should stand out against the background. So I'll look into the colour scheme, but just for the time being, it's a little better than it was. The thing I want to do next is to basically have the percentage. So instead of it just being the circle increasing, I want to actually have the percentage. So so the loot duration, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to no, that goes in there. What I want to do is actually see the value that's getting shown, and we'll see that at the top left when we're looting. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, boom. Okay, so it goes 5.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9. So that's getting the loot duration. So basically, you want to get the loot duration. So what we can do is, if we go to the designer, add text, no children text, fancy text, no children. Right, let's just do 100%. What the hell? Basic Latin. Oh, you know what? Let's just do text. Anchor, reset, 0.5, 0.5. How long have I been making this game? God, not sure, dude. You'd have to tally up the hours on... You'd have to tally up the hours on my YouTube where I stream all of the dev for my games. It's hard to say at this point because I modelled everything as well. So, yeah, tiny bit hard to say. I really don't know at this point in time, dude. Right, what am I gonna do here? It needs to be concatenate. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a binding to that, which is get text. So just for the time being, we're gonna get the loop duration, and I'm just gonna plug that in there. Okay, and then what we should see is the numbers, the floats go up. There we go. So what we need to do is kind of get the loop duration. If we times it by 10 times by 10, we should get a whole number, I think. Not sure. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we need to times it by 100. There you go. Do you see that? So if we remove the decimal points, you see there we're getting the whole number to the left of the decimal point. Okay, so now what we need to do is I'm pretty sure there's like a round to whole number option. Round A to the nearest integer. So minus 1.6 becomes minus 2 and 1.6 becomes 2. So if I do round, and that's an integer, we'll see how that looks. There we go. Notice it went to 100, whereas previously with the float it was just going to 99 point something. So now what we want to do is we want to append, because we're going to add on the percentage. String append. So we get that value. So if we plug that in there and then do percent and plug that into there, we'll see how that looks. Okay, so I feel like we need just a tiny bit of drop shadow. That's interesting. So you can only do, you can't do decimal points on that, it has to be. Okay. We should also have, there we go, justification. Right, so if we go to shadow, give it a shadow. If we do 0.5, 0.5. That looks so crap with the yeah, that looks trash. Is there not like a shadow option? See how that looks. You can barely really see the drop shadow on there. Which is interesting. It's really nice just having that percentage. It is ever so slightly off center though, having the I don't know what the strike brush is. Why won't... Why, tell you what we'll do, we'll go for the outline. And instead of it being black, I'm just going for like a darker blue. So it kind of, it'll at least, yeah, okay, let's try that. Well, it's doing the job. It's rounding the float to a whole number. So the player's getting a visual feedback. I don't know how my son's managed to bug out the looting earlier. So yeah, I'll play around with the colour scheme on there. Maybe redesign the image furthermore. But I've added in that percentage now, so it's really nice getting that visual, not just the increasing circle. It's just nice seeing that number. That was fairly easy to do in the code. Okay, so that will do as a slight improvement. Maybe not visually, but functionality. We've got the percentage being displayed there. And it's the same. It's the same anchoring. Right, so I'm just going to tidy up the code in there. Make it look a little bit nicer. Yeah, definitely need to work on the colour scheme for that. So that is the looting almost done. I don't feel like it really needs anything else other than a nice colour scheme that works well. So I'll play around with that, see what works. Right, so we can close that. So what was the other? Let's just have a look. So looting UI done. The bug fix. I'm not sure about the bug fix with. I don't know how my sons bugged it out earlier, where they were going around the level looting the stuff, and then after a certain point they weren't able to loot. Maybe it's that. So so when the player does a line trace to a lootable, if they're escorting a creature, they can't loot. If the player isn't looting, we loot the container, and then we set the is looting variable on the player to true. So then player yeah. So we update the boolean there. Let's just check the other lootables. Player. I mean, I did all this code yesterday, so I'm not sure how they managed to bug it out, but I can't see any reason why the looting would bug out. I've got all of the right things in place throughout the different lootables. Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. Okay. Yeah, not sure. Interesting. Right, so what are we going to do now then? I'll skip over that bug fix because I can't... I'm not sure what's... I don't know how they broke it. I think I just need to test it. I'm going to test it. Because I know they were in here. So I'm just going to spam the line trace and see if that was... I don't know how they bugged it out. Really don't. Right, one thing I do want to do is get a better rotation, like a smoother rotation on the creature. So we've upgraded the UI looting. Bug fix I can't really replicate. The creature behaviour trees. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into Gekanda and see if there's like a alert. I don't know. Okay, one thing we do have is the idle. So captured, idle, run, spawn, walking. So right, let's see. This needs some kind of lerp, so it looks good. Right, so if we try and get Gakanda, what we're expecting is if they follow the player, we walk, we move to the player, and then when they're at the player, we go to the idle animation. So let's just try and get Gakanda spawned. Just check that that is going to work. Okay. So you're jabbing out now. That animation, I think, is already set to... If I say loop, we've got Octo-Nymph. Okay, so we do need to have it set to looping. So is that the condition then? It will only... So if it has line of sight, it would loop. Right, let's see. We move to the player, we finish, and then we play the idol. Let's see if that works. I'm just doing this until we get Gekanda. I mean, to be fair, what I could actually do, just to save me time for bug fixing, I'm gonna have right, so what I've got there, guys, what I've done, because of obviously there's 4 creatures that are getting picked between on the spawn manager. It's picking a random creature. So if I'm to playtest this, it's just going to be a little bit mad. And it will basically, I'll just have to keep looting everything. So putting in P to set my spawn chance to 100% guarantees I'll get a creature every time. So this will be a little bit quicker for getting the creature. So if I press P, I'm going to get a creature now. Guaranteed. Nice little cheat code. Okay, so the non-blocking so okay. That's the other issue. He stops following. Let's see if that works. Bro. Hold on, guys. Oh, crap. Why is it losing line of sight? Walk, animation, rotate to face the player, follow the player, move to them. There was a... So there's a way that you can... Right, so if we go into Gekanda, AI perception. I can't see any option here for... Um,
So you want to start a business?
oh, for fuck's sake. Adverts. Right. I'm not sure if that's the right. We'll see if it'll work. We just want to see a debug arrow. That's really cool seeing that actually. Let's just look at the other options. It's a bit tricky because the robot the perception See, what's interesting, What's interesting is there is a debug color option here. There is an option here for debug color, but I'm not sure. Because you want to. I don't feel like this is correct, the debug arrow, because there's no input going into this really to target specifically this sense, so we can like investigate this and see where the line of sight is. Like, is it coming from like on Gikanda, is it coming from the head bone? Is it coming from higher up on the capsule? It's really not clear. Really not clear. Right, there is a way. Official. Right. So there is a way you can debug it. Apostrophe. And pressing numpad key 4. Right, that's good. Let's go full screen then. So right, so we press apostrophe. Oh shit, the robot's coming. Oh fuck. Right, why has he lost me? Why did you lose me? I really don't know why he's sometimes losing it. At least we know now the debug perception for AI is the apostrophe, and then number pad 4 to bring up the information. Let's just have a look. What was I doing? Creature behaviour tree. Move to the player. Success. Let's see if that works. Oh, you're a little shitbag. So you can kind of see he's in the idle pose. Let me... just shrink this down. So it is. So it is going into that, but we need it to... Okay. Alright, in that case, let's do that. We also need to sort the issue where the player's getting blocked by the creatures. I feel like I need to... Behaviour trees are tricky. Let me just open up the... So this always takes priority. So if it doesn't have line of sight, if the robot doesn't have line of sight, it goes to this. Move to player. Oh my god. So I'm guessing that kind of acts as a bit of a boolean. So basically, if that's inversed, we're saying if it's not at the location of the player, we play the walk animation. So we'll see what that does. Aha. I did it. Okay, so the condition met. You coming, mate? Okay, I see what's happening. So it's moving over there. So if we move location, it's like the conditions met and it hops out. Okay. So it goes to the idle animation, then we just wait. But we don't really want to go into the wait. Like if I unplug that, if I just unplug that, so at the moment, so now if we get a Gakanda, he should always follow us. There we go. Follow me, dude. Oh, you got me stuck. Okay, I need to somehow figure out this collision because I have a feeling if I... Okay. So we're blocking the pawn. I'm just curious, if I ticked overlap on pawn, I have a feeling if I turn overlap to, let me just take a screenshot of that. If I tick pawn, then Gekanda is literally going to run to our exact location, and with the collider not there to stop him, so let's do custom, and then we're going to tick pawn, and we're going to see how that affects the... We're going to see how that affects the... I'm hoping he... I know he's probably going to do exactly what I think he's going to do. Just have a feeling. Yeah, okay. Oh, 1 second, guys. Sorry, my kid's just woken up. 1 minute, guys. Sorry guys, one of my boys woke up. Okay. Okay, so he moves to our location. So you can see the very bottom of my capsule there. He's not on it, so capsule radius 55. So if I do 55, I'm expecting him to be just on the outskirt of my capsule collider. Let's test this out. Yeah, just as expected. Why can't you see me, dude? What are you doing? What are you doing? So we need to right, at least he's doing what I want him to do. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the follow speed to 300. I'm going to go 350. So he's going to move at a slower speed now. So we need to speed up his animation to match the thing, and we can overlap him, guys, which is nice, so we're not blocked now. So what I'm going to do quickly is just go into, I don't need to be in that controller or that. So on the capsule component, we're going to just change the other creatures to be custom with overlap on pawn. It's a shame you can't seem to like set the speed of the animation. Right, sorry. So capsule component on the other creatures. We're gonna say custom and just overlap the pawn. So capsule component, custom, overlap pawn, compile, save. We've done it for Gekanda, so get Gelatino, capsule component, custom, overlap pawn, overlap pawn, and then Octo-Nymph, capsule component, custom, overlap pawn, compile, save. And then we should do the same for the robot as well, because when the player overlaps with the robot, we don't want to get him stuck in a position. So if we do custom pawn, we're allowing the player to pass through the robot. We'll test how that looks, and if it doesn't look good, we'll put that back. And what we can also do is go into, let me just close these ones. The behaviour tree for the robot, and where we've got the moved player location, because we've turned off the pawn, basically that 55 value is the radius of the capsule component. So that's basically saying stop at the capsule collider, essentially. So if we go onto the enemy and click on there and do 55 and save, if we now go to the robot, he stops there, and we can just pass through him. Because he's got quite a big... I just don't want any issues where the robot could potentially block the player, although because the idea is the robot will hit you, like, you shouldn't really be able to kind of pass through him, so he basically will attack you, and when he attacks you, like at the moment we can pass through, but if he attacks you, you lose some health. And then and then the idea is that he would, if he spots you, he'll go and attack you, and then he'll return to his original spot. That's the idea with the logic behind him. Oh my god. Come on, dude. So we need to speed up the animation of Gekanda. That's so cute. Okay. Do I want the robot? I'll tell you what. Let's just turn that back on. So, because the idea with my logic for the robot is if they sense you, they move to your location, they attack you, you lose 2 life, and then the robot will return to its previous location. That's the logic there. So the fact that it just doesn't make sense to be able to pass through a metal robot, whereas with the creatures they're a lot smaller, so I don't mind that as much. So we can now pass through all the creatures. What we need to do is increase the animation speed. To match. I need to just test it again, sorry guys. Alright, so that That speed feels nice, but we need to increase. We need to increase the sneak. I also feel like we need to slow him down. So I'm going to put it at 200. Just because I feel he moves too fast for the kind of effect I'm trying to have on the overall game and the stealth and things and how the different creatures, the challenge, you know. Okay, so you can see how slow he is. He's a lot slower there. That's the pace I want. So it will make when the robots are in there, you know, you can't outrun him. We're going to fix that bug there where... Okay, so we do need to increase that sneak animation. You see it's like he's ice skating. That's how he's coming across. So we're going to go into the asset NPC Gekanda. I think it's the walk. So there should be animation speed. Okay, so it's rate scale. Rate scale. Right, let's rate scale. Let's see if that looks a bit better. It still feels a little bit ice skatey. So it needs to just I mean, to be fair, if I slowed him down to 150, that might actually... Let's test it. That's a lot better. You see that distance? You can just imagine having the robot in here and the panic of just trying to, you know, avoid the robot and wait for the creature. That feels like a good I don't want to increase. Let me just shrink that down. So at the moment, I feel like that animation, does he feel like he's ice skating? I'm going to increase it just a tiny bit. I'm going to go 2.4. Actually, 2.3. So the default is 1. Hope you're enjoying the stream, guys. That's perfect. That doesn't look like he's ice skating now. That looks so much better. I love him. Little Gekanda. I'm really happy with that movement speed as well. It's definitely the right movement speed. We just need to figure out why he keeps losing sight, because the robot, in comparison, the robot is like the Terminator with the tracking. And I really don't know if it's because of the skeletal height and if it's getting if the perception is based off of the bone of a skeletal mesh. I'm not sure. I don't have enough experience with it to know what the problem might be. But we've got him walking, and when he gets to us, there we go. He does the idle. We just need to lerp that rotation. But I'm super happy with that. We can walk through, we can walk over the creatures and it doesn't look wrong. If we go to the robot, the robot blocks us. I'm fine with the robot blocking the player. So 2.3. So that's going to be the same for the other creatures. So if we give them, if they all have that same speed, because that feels like a really nice challenging speed. So when the robots are patrolling, you know, you do that. So the more I'm playing around and experimenting with this, the more I'm getting to grips with just the flow, because it is very similar to the blueprints itself. It's just the flow and having these conditions. So I just wonder if there's a lerp. Okay, so there is a way to get a smoother rotation. because the way it follows the player is great. It's just as you're moving around, the way it rotates, it's just not. It's not nice. So let's just go into AI, Gekanda, and go on the controller. So this this is for the player, so hold on. Follow player. So the BTT follow player is literally just that. BTT task blueprint base. I've never noticed that. Top right, parent class. I have never noticed that. I've never paid attention to this top right section. Okay, let's create a custom task and then we'll drop it in. We'll see if we can do one. And then I'm going to have to call the stream, guys, because I'm going to be up early, no doubt. Let's have a sip of my coffee. So, follow player, rotate to face the player. Okay, so the parent class is BTT blueprint base. I might rename this to BTT Gekanda, because basically in the follow player, we're casting specifically to Gekanda. So because there's 4 different creatures, that's going to be different each time, so it makes sense to label the behaviour tree task with the NPC's name. Let me just rename BTT task for robot chase player with NPC name similar to Gekanda follow player BTT. Okay, so I'm going to close that enemy one there and the enemy character. Don't need the spawn manager. We don't need that. I'm happy with the rate scale with the animation. Don't think I need that either. So BTT task blueprint base. So I'm gonna have is that instance editor? Yes, it is. Okay. Oh god. Okay. So BTT. And we're going to call this BTT get Kanda rotation. Open that up. So if I copy this, okay, so we're going to get actor rotation. Get actor rotation. target location. Thanks for spam view, Super. Okay, so we're getting the rotation of Gekanda. And we're getting the player actor location. Okay. So we've got our current rotation, and then we've got the target location. Not sure if that's right. Oh. Um. Right, delta time. Pretty sure we're gonna have to plug in Um, I guess we'll see if that works. So, behaviour tree task Gakanda rotation. I cast into Gakanda and we're saying set the actor rotation. The target is the player character. We've made the interp speed a editable variable, so we'll be able to adjust that within the behaviour tree. I think that should work. So if I go up here, and if I just move that one down there and drag off and did BTT Gakanda rotation, and if I just unplug that, 1, 4, 5, 6. Right, let's see if that actually does anything. And then obviously we've got the interp speed. So if I put that at 5, oh, sorry guys, adverts. So we're hoping for a nice smooth rotation now. Fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed. Interesting. I mean, I think I've got the code right there. So that's a one-time event. Hmm. How can we get that to happen at the same time as the move to? going to see what that does. I'm curious. Yeah, it's like a one-time firing event, isn't it? It needs some fine-tuning, guys, but I mean, we've sorted out the collision there, so we're not getting blocked by the creatures. I'm pretty sure my code is correct for the smooth rotation. It's like the behaviour tree task, a one-time fire event. They do their thing, and then wham bam thank you ma'am. But what we need is during the move to, it's like whilst the move to is happening, it's like while the move to is happening, let's see if that works. Okay, I'm gonna switch it so... So the main task is to focus on that rotation. Oh my god. What have I done? I have jabbed out Gekanda. That was a little bit funny. Still doing it. You're not doing the interp. Ah. Okay, let's see. Let's see if that does it. So we've got that on infinite loop with the rotation. Let's hope it works. Jesus Christ, why is this so... It's happening at the same time. It's not doing... You can see that, guys, it's not... I mean, the good thing is, we've got the movement, we've removed the collision. He does what we need him to do. I think what I'll do is... If I just get rid of that BTT Gekanda rotation. Get rid of that, get rid of that. Two, three, four, five, six, seven. I mean, for me, it's a polish thing, having that smooth rotation. Like, it bugs me because it's, to me, it needs to be a smooth rotation, not that jaggedy kind of as we're moving around. But we have got the animation changing, so if we still need to investigate the line of sight issue, but when he gets to us when he gets to us, he does that. So we've sorted out, and we've got a good speed, a good movement speed. So in terms of work on the behaviour tree, I would say I'm happy with that. And then there's more logic to implement, which is if the player if the player exceeds a certain distance from the creature, then the creature's retreat logic kicks in. So essentially the player has to touch the creature. If the creature runs off into like the panic logic, the player needs to kind of approach the creature again. So there's going to be a couple of booleans and things. So yeah, I mean that logic though, we unplugged the wait node, and that works really nicely. Like I say, we've inversed this, we've added this in, so that handles the animation, and that works quite nicely. So yeah, a bit more work to be done on that, but I'm going to call the stream there, guys. So this stream we have sorted out the looting widget. So we've added on, well, we've added a different fill background and frame image to the surround of that UI, and we've also shown the percentage of the looting from 0 to 100%. Bit more feedback to the player. Not sure, I was trying to recreate the bug my sons had earlier where they couldn't loot. I don't quite know how they did it, but I struggled to recreate the bug. And yeah, we've done a bit of work to the behaviour tree there and sorted out the animation, so that looks quite nice. So it would be a matter of replicating the same code for the other 3 creatures. I think what I'd like to do on the next stream is create the logic for taking a creature back to the center of the map. What I might also do is on the HUD maybe design the frames, because there's meant to be like a frame with a little portrait image of the creature, the creatures you need to rescue. So we're going to look into that as well. If you enjoyed the stream, guys, feel free to follow on Twitch to stay up to date. If you want to see any previous live streams I've done, go check out my YouTube below. I've got playlists for Unreal, Unity and Blender, and you can play some of the games I've made on my itch channel below. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next stream.